Hey, again, seems to be a running kind of joke that I know it's been a while. So, anyway, I hope you're well, and as the title suggests of this video, it is true. I do have diabetes, or type 2 diabetes, if you want to be all technical about it. So, anyway, as I explained in my other videos, or my other or previous video, which was done in May, within that kind of period, I did find out that I was also type 2 diabetic. So how it started was just I didn't really, if I have to be honest, I didn't really notice much of anything really, but it wasn't till somebody who I know personally said, like, have you been working out too hard? I'm like, no, same, like, yeah, no, different. And so I was going through, as I said, a lot of stress at that time. But it wasn't until after when I had that visit to the hospital that I thought, because I had all the tests under the sun, even for diabetes, and apparently I was fine. They said I was okay, I just need to eat and just go home, and that's what I did. And then for some reason, I thought, I think I might have to be tested again. And so I phoned up my GP or my doctor and explained the situation. And he said to come to the surgery and do a blood test and do all that stuff, and that's fine. So I did everything, and literally a week later, unfortunately, it came back positive for type 2 diabetes. And first of all, I'm like, yeah, but this happened, and da 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 da. And I nearly argued with them. Don't argue with the doctor. So basically, my own experience of diabetes, basically, when I've spoken to people about diabetes, unfortunately, people have said to me, like, but you're not overweight. And like, yeah, diabetes doesn't really discriminate. So in my case, I was losing weight, like, a lot, or gradually without knowing. Like, I do work out, so I put it down to that. I thought maybe I should kind of leave off a bit, and I did. But I was still losing weight. And so when I did kind of find out, I found out that basically because of the stress that I was kind of experiencing at the time and also ingesting, and so chronic stress can be not the sole thing that kind of made me diabetic. It was basically a culmination of everything, basically. So I went from, I don't know in other measurements, but I was 12 stone 5, about, must have been slightly before the pandemic, so probably about December, January of 2019, and I kind of lost weight very gradually. And I went from about, as I said, 12 stone 5 to about nearly 8.5 stone, which is not great. And so, basically, since from that time, I've been slowly trying to put on weight. And so it's incredibly hard because I'm sure like everybody's experiences has their own kind of upheavals, but I found it difficult because I can't. It's not a case of like getting the nearest fatty thing and just stuffing your face. It's not. I've had to basically change my way of eating. I've had to obviously stop cakes, everything. Not exactly everything, but I had to eat more unsaturated fat. And so eating avocados, nuts, kale, black bean pasta, which I'm kind of, and salmon and anything that I could kind of handle. And so in the beginning, I did have a little bit of a difficulty because I needed to basically eat certain types of things in order to put on weight. And so it took me a while to kind of figure it out. So when I did eventually, um, my GP actually put me on a tablet called Gliglazide, which basically, kind of, as I've been told, is a baseline medication. So it's like a standard medication from what I understand, and it lowers the glucose or helps with the glucose. So, um, just to not go too high, but I had to test my glucose twice a day, and I did that for the duration that I was on Gliglazide. Um, Unfortunately, I did suffer one hypo, and ironically, that was when I changed to the now medication that I'm on now, and so that's metformin. And so I will explain that more later. But anyway, it wasn't until quite recently that I've started to put on weight now. So I'm starting to kind of look a bit more fuller and kind of like looking more like a actual person because people who I know have said like you look very very gaunt and very tired all the time. And unfortunately, because I had been talking about my diabetes so much with people, I nearly went into an argument with one person. And so, and people don't often understand that for myself personally, I can't kind of sum up other people's experiences, but for myself personally, I had to eat unsaturated food with um with kind of keeping my glucose down. So I had to put on weight without um, without uh, basically put my glucose up, which is so hard. But gratefully, I did do it, and I did do it. So I am now. I'm still within 9 stone region, which is still not great, but I'm happy. Um, it's now getting a lot easier than it was ages ago. So it wasn't a case of like, oh, because I was healthier, it was easier. It wasn't. It was harder because I had to find out what works for my body. It's not like, oh, I can have this, because my glucose reacts badly to juices. Like my glucose goes sky high when it's up that high, and when it's when I've drunk juices basically, because obviously the sugar content and things like that. But now I kind of have water, milk. I don't drink alcohol. I've never drunk alcohol anyway. But I kind of, as I said, had black bean pasta. basically, just to sum up in a very kind of simpler or layman terms way, don't have anything white, have everything brown. If you can find anything with black bean in, then great, because that can lessen glucose even more. But don't take my word for it. Always go to a doctor. So I should have stated that, and I'll put that somewhere in the video. But anyway, obviously I kind of had advice from a dietitian from my local doctor's surgery about what I should be eating instead of what I think I should be eating, because there are some, like, I thought potatoes would be great, when in fact in some potatoes there is carbs, and where the carbs turn to sugar. And so again, I had to kind of miss out on that. But anyway, yeah, so where I'm at now, as I said, I'm at an even keel with my diabetes, and yeah, it's going to take a long time for me to get back to where I was originally. But let's just put it this way: I may not, well, I can have little bits of everything rather than have like huge amounts of two things. So at least I can enjoy food a bit more rather than at the beginning where it was. But still, anyway, I will finish off this video, and thank you for listening. And I'll update you with everything. So anyway, I hope you're well. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.